Hey guys, it's your boy EDDBUD. I'm back again with a viewer requested video, a shootout this time between the Nike Vaporfly Next and the Saucony Endorphin Pro. We hit it with the Alphafly versus Endorphin Pro yesterday, and today we've got the next best thing. Did you get it? The next. Okay, I want to believe. I can't be messing around with this for ages, let's get to business. As usual, these shoes are my own purchase with my hard-earned shoe tokens. These are my own opinions and my honest opinions. This comparison seems to be quite a popular one. I think it's because the Next Percent's still available in a few places, whereas the Alphafly is just not available again. Well, it's not really ever been available, has it? It was available for like 30 seconds or something. Let's get to it, boy. The upper first. So the Saucony has a more traditional style mesh upper. I'd say that more runners would find the mesh here in keeping with their typical running shoe experiences. Vapor weave, on the other hand, in the Next Percent is certainly different. It takes on almost no moisture when I've used it in any wet conditions, though it does take a little time to get used to. Not sure I'd want to wear a shirt made of this stuff, that's all I'm going to say. Lacing up these shoes though, both pairs, requires a little bit more of your attention. You need to ensure that the tongue's completely flattened out in the Next Percent. When you first put it on, it's just a weird experience, I've got to be honest. Tightness achieved needs to be really spot on to get the best out of this. A full lockdown is required. Similar vibes in the Saucony, where a runner's knot worked best for me to get the most of that somewhat rigid midsole. Both are very breathable. The breathability test. Yep, I can feel it. Can't feel it. I think if you like a more old school running shoe feel, then the Saucony's probably the one for you. If you prefer the innovative, the forward thinking, the Next Percent could be the one. For me though, in the uppers of the two shoes, I don't think there's really an awful lot in it. It's kind of like whether you like wearing a bin bag on your foot or having a very light mesh. I would suggest that the Next Percent actually offers a little bit more support than the Saucony. At least you've got some type of heel counter here. It's just fabric in the Saucony. I don't think I can give either one the crown here. I think they're right up on the top podium. I'm going to call this one a draw. I think this one's perhaps a little bit more supportive, but overall I think I'd probably find the Saucony a little bit more comfortable. I can't decide though, it's a tie. On to midsole now. There's a mass of midsole cushioning in both of these shoes. Pebax foam here to cushion your tired toes, help your sore heels and your aching arches. I think the midsole foam in the Saucony is a tad firmer than it is in the Next Percent. It's still nicely responsive though, more akin to the Reebok Run Fast 2 rather than the Hoka Oni Carbon X. In fact, this is very much what I hoped that the Carbon X would be when I first got it. That shoe turned out to be just a tad too firm and uninspiring underfoot for me. I think the difference in the underfoot feel between these two shoes is that of density. The Power Run PB pellets used in the Endorphin Pro are the same that are used in the midsole of the Nike Next Percent. It's true. Different implementation, but the same stuff. It's like cornflakes, and then you can get Frosties that have got like sugar on, but they're just cornflakes. A more squishy, bouncy, compressive feel in the Next Percent, but not every runner's going to prefer that or want that from their shoe. Some people might find that those features actually just don't work for them in terms of their running style. If you're not a neutral runner here, I can see this shoe not working out for you. You've got to take a little bit of time with this shoe. Show some understanding for it. You've got to let its nuances seep into your very soul. I can imagine it actually feels quite bizarre on foot if you've never worn a Vaporfly type shoe before, especially in that arch area. I mean, it is really tight in the arch. If you don't have a narrow foot, it's going to feel odd. Where the Vaporfly 4% Flyknit had a very fast and very pronounced plate feel in the midsole, the Next Percent and the Saucony for me have a much more subtle implementation of that technology. I mean, you can run some slower pace miles in this shoe or the Saucony. In the 4% Flyknit, it just felt weird doing that. I'd suggest in midsole it's very close between these two shoes, but I am going to go with the Vaporfly Next Percent. It's got a little more pop, and I found that looking through all of my training or any races that I've done in this shoe, I have run generally faster thus far. It is that little bit lighter. Those faster paced miles certainly have been run at lower heart rates while using this shoe. So for midsole, the Vaporfly Next Percent takes the crown. Outsole next. Over 100 miles in this one, and the Next percent handles concrete, road and compacted dirt pretty well. In terms of durability of the forefoot area, there's a few dents, a few scrapes. It's seen a bit of action, just like me. Ain't looking too bad back here either. The Endorphin Pro here uses XT900 carbon rubber. I'm going to get me some XT900 carbon rubber tyres on my car. I'm not going to do that. Certainly provided some good durability and traction thus far. During one of the races that I wore the Next percent, I did have to run on some grass. It didn't do very well. I was a slip-in, I was a slide-in. Bizarrely, the Saucony seems to handle wet grass much better. I think this one's a little more forgiving on a variety of surfaces, and if the rubber on the Triumph 17 is anything to go by, then this could last a considerable time. Don't think durability is going to be a big problem in the Endorphin Pro. So for outsole, for me, the Saucony takes it. So that's a draw, Next percent, Saucony, okay. So pretty down the line right now. On to value now. In terms of value, there is a price difference here of £50 between the Next percent and the Saucony Endorphin Pro. I think in terms of shoe selection between the two, it's going to be down to look, fit and feel. How do you like your running shoe? The Next percent's a little less narrow in the arch than the 4%, but it's still certainly a shoe I can't really recommend for anyone with a wider foot. If weight is a big factor in terms of your shoe selection, the Next percent does clock in 30 grams lighter than the Saucony Endorphin Pro in my UK size 11. Though with that weight difference does come a slightly different, untraditional shoe style. I think if cost is the main driver, then the Saucony Endorphin Pro might be the one to go for. Yes, it is a little bit heavier than the Nike Next percent, but we're still talking about a very light shoe. I think the quality on this one's great as well. It's been put together with some real care. There's some subtlety in the way that the different technologies have been implemented, and you also get a second set of yellow laces. If that doesn't make it worth getting, then what does? I think if you want the absolute lightest, highly cushioned offering and don't really dislike the narrow arch feel, the Next percent could be the way to go. If you can find it, maybe you can hire the Next percent. Personally though, I think this Saucony shoe is going to sell very, very well once people figure it out. It's nice to see someone produce such a fantastic looking and performing running shoe. It might not have that swoosh on the side, but hey, that's not everything, right? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. I know that these shoe comparison videos generate a lot of discussion, and when it's discussion revolving around shoes, I'm all in. Please post your comments below, guys. Did somebody say musical interlude? One of my favourite albums of all time, the debut album from the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Spread your love, love burns, whatever happened to my rock and roll, fantastic tracks. Every single track on this album is superb. It's got a great intro as well. I remember the first time I ever listened to it. It's that good an album. They're still putting some stuff out as well, equally good quality. But for me, the first album is the best. If you haven't ever checked them out, do so right now. Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Lots of layered guitars, the drums as well, really distorted. Very much a atmospheric type album. Really makes you feel a certain way. Sometimes it's not exactly the way you want to feel either, but it just is a really interesting journey. Thanks for watching through to the end of today's video. I very much appreciate it. This week is a whole gamut of new running shoes coming in. We have the will be up on the block for the initial review. The New Balance is also on its way. And another, because you know how much I love, right? Stay tuned later in the week for some more shoe reviews. Really helps the channel out if you give the video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you. The Power Run PB pellets used, it's hard to say that, the Power Run PB pellets. PB pellets, I like saying that. I really like saying it.